What's up, brewheads? Welcome to another Brewthirty, where I drink a beer and pair it with a toy. Tonight, we're doing a brand new review of one of my favorite beers of the summer, and that is Grapefruit Jungle from Sun King Brewing Company out of Indianapolis, Indiana. If you guys aren't familiar with Sun King, they've been around for a while, and I've been to the brewery before, but they were closed. Not sure why all these breweries have weird hours, but I'm sure there's a good reason for it. Sun King, like I said, has been around for a long time, and they make a lot of really good beers. I think most notably is their Osiris Pale Ale, which you'll find at a lot of places over in the Indianapolis area. But Grapefruit Jungle is their seasonal release, and it is a fantastic IPA. But before we get going, what are we going to pair this awesome beer with? And that are these two dudes right here. The G.I. Joe Intruders, Strongmen from Another World. For those of you guys who are not familiar with the 1970s G.I. Joe Adventure Team, this was the very first villain that G.I. Joe had. In 1976, Hasbro came up with a wildly weird concept to have these midget Neanderthals fight G.I. Joe under the banner of the Strongmen from Another World, mysterious intruders. They were just plastic bodies that came with a mechanism that allowed them to grab G.I. Joe, and they were weird. I'm not sure where they came up with these but they're highly collectible and highly popular. They've grown on me, and they're super cool figures. I've featured them in a few of my photo stories. Something about these guys I find interesting. When I was preparing to do this beer review, I was thinking about the early 1980s G.I. Joe Real American Hero cartoon where they built the Weather Dominator and the mass device. There was a story arc in there where Duke was captured by Cobra, and he had to fight this Goliath of a man. And I always felt like he was inspired by the Intruders because they dressed relatively similar. And I always felt like that's what the Intruders should have been, were Goliath men that Joe fought. But needless to say, I think they're really cool, and I think they're going to pair great with this Grapefruit Jungle. So this, like I said, is an IPA, a grapefruit IPA. It is 66 IBUs, so not super hoppy, but right there in my wheelhouse. It is 7.5% alcohol by volume, and this is a great beer. My good bud Derek gets this every year. He's the first one that introduced this to me, and it used to be available, I think, in 4 16-ounce cans, but this came in a 6-pack, and it's $11.99. So let's go ahead and try this thing out. Get my handy-dandy IPA glass. Like I always say, there is no right way or wrong way to pour a beer. You pour your beer the way you want. I will pour my beer the way I want, and we will still be friends even in an election year when the world is going mad. All right. Grapefruit Jungle. Right off the bat, I get some hoppy aromas. Not a lot of fruit or citrusy aromas, which I find odd with Grapefruit Jungle, but we'll go ahead and give it a taste. It pours a nice darker amber color, has a really nice frothy head. Let's taste it. Perfect. Very, very crisp, a very bitter, almost grapefruity front end, and a nice, dry, hoppy back end. Absolutely perfect. You drink this thing really cold after you get done mowing the lawn, and it is the perfect beer for summer. Grapefruit Jungle, again, knocks it out of the park. Sun King Brewing always brings it, and this is awesome. Absolutely perfect. I don't know. It almost drinks like a session. If you got a session IPA, a little bit lighter, 4.5%, but this is 7.5%. Absolutely perfect. I don't know I don't know if I've had a better beer recently, just a regular IPA than Grapefruit Jungle. I think it is the quintessential IPA, guys. I really think Sun King Brewery knocked it out of the park with this. This is a great beer. I look forward to trying to get this every year. Luckily, it was available at the grocery store that I go to, which is the first time I've seen it there. So, shout out to Sun King Brewing Company, doing God's work. Shout out to the Intruders. It would be great if Hasbro got their heads out of their butts and brought back some Adventure Team themed figures and reintroduced us to the Intruders. One last thing of note, I always felt like the Super Joe line, which I recently just did a beer pairing with Super G.I. Joe, I always felt like these guys would have been better villains for the Super G.I. Joe line. And their size is around 8.5 inches. They would have went perfect with Super G.I. Joe. So, I don't know. It's odd. I would love to sit down and talk with Daryl DePriest of used to be of Hasbro. He's been on several of my friends' podcasts and live streams. I would love to sit down and talk to him. He's had the fortunate, what would I call it? He's been fortunate to sit down with the individuals who worked on the Adventure Team back in the late 60s, early 70s, and even towards the end of the line. And I would like to pick his brain on a lot of that stuff. I think it'd be a great conversation, so hopefully I can make that happen sometime. But right now we're talking about beer, and this Grapefruit Jungle is awesome. Guys, let me know in the comments what you think of Grapefruit Jungle. If you've had anything from Sun King Brewing Company, definitely check this out if you're a fan of IPAs, and check out all their other beers. And in the meantime, guys, cheers.